Time right now is about 28 minutes after 8. Guys, we're about to get into a very important conversation with the one and only Steve Muchiri regarding the art of manliness and fatherhood. Fatherhood, especially for this one, is going to be a very important conversation. So I would suggest that if you're a young man in this country, you sit back, take your notes, because you have to also ask Steve some very important questions. All right, so we're getting into this right now. Hello, Steve.
Hello, hi. Hi,
Finally.
Kev.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Sorry for the problem of connection.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Final, yeah. Finally, we are here.
Definitely. It's good to hear from you. Now, Steve, we're going to be talking
Yes.
about the art of manliness, fatherhood, and why it's important for young guys in this country to have a mentor. But for starters,
Yes.
could you just say what you do, talk about your experience as a personal, coach, men's coach, also
Yeah. Personal
yeah,
development
coach.
consultant. Yeah,
Yes. Talk
yeah,
about your
yeah.
background.
So my name is Steve Muchiri. I am an author. I am a husband. I am a father. I am an entrepreneur. I
Yeah.
wear many hats. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so my background is in psychology. That's what I studied in campus.
Okay.
I did a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from Daystar University.
Awesome.
And from 2011, I've been pursuing what we call personal development. And that's now, training, giving inspirational talks based on my personal experience and my personal story.
Yes.
I believe some of our listeners have heard my story, or have watched my story on YouTube and on other media platforms, because it's out there, and it's a very inspiring story, and that's what made me actually to focus on personal development, because I realized when I started my own journey, because I did my own journey of personal development through investing in a course of personal development, through reading a lot of books, through having people work with me, the people we call mentors, and people modeling, people who are close to me, and that really helped me to transform my life. And I said, why not? Why not share this information, this knowledge that I have gotten, to other people to help them? So that's what I've been doing since 2011 until today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now, Steve,
Yeah,
let's just
yeah.
dive right into it. Fatherhood
Yeah.
in this country, a lot of men are struggling. Apparently, young men out here
Yeah.
struggling to be fathers. They don't understand it. Some of them even grew up without fathers. And
Yeah.
guess what? They have little children who are victimized. They're going to grow up without fathers. Can you just give us the basics, or rather the principles of being a father? What are some of the things that these young guys have to get right from day one?
For me, fatherhood is a doing word. It's a verb. It's not a name.
Yes.
That's what I would say. It's a responsibility, because look at I am a believer. I am a born again believer, and I gain my inspiration from the Bible.
Okay.
And God identifies himself to us as a father.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He helps us. He's always, helping us and giving us strength, of course, through his word, and giving us guidance and all that. So I believe fatherhood is a doing word. It's about, being there for your children. It's about not just providing materially, because I think that's where sometimes we just focus on that and forget that there are other things about being a father. Providing a vision, for your family,
True.
or for your children, providing guidance. It's about also protecting in terms of protecting emotionally, not just physically,
So,
protecting emotionally, being there for your children emotionally. It's about also being a priest, where you speak life, because you, as a father, you're supposed to speak life to your children, because they look up to you. They look up to you. Yeah.
now,
So
Steve,
for me, those are the basics.
Those are the basics. So a lot of guys will be like, okay, Steve, that's easy to say. Cliche, we're going to be talking about emotions. But as it is right now, the country, in fact, yesterday we had a very interesting conversation. And guys were saying, you know what, Kev, it's very hard. Majority of guys are not there for the kids because of resources. And now we have a situation where a man says, you know what, let me just leave these babies with the mother. Let me go Nizichunge first, and then I'll come back later. Does it make sense when they say that?
Yeah. I think that's a bit selfish, because what I know is and maybe it's because of how somebody has been brought up, and that's why we're gonna talk about modeling. How did you see? For example, let me give my story, Kev. I lost my dad when I was 16 years.
Okay, sorry about that.
I'm telling you, I lost my dad when I was 16 years, but I can tell you the time I had with him, the 16 years. those 16 years because and it's not like he was so wealthy or he had a lot of things. My dad was actually what we call a hustler. He was a taxi driver. He was retrenched, and sometimes he never even used to have that money, but he used to give me hope. He used to tell me, don't you worry, son, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna do whatever I can. He never abandoned me because he didn't have money. I remember when he lost his job and things became very, very tough, he never left. He didn't leave. He was there. And I'm giving my personal example because sometimes we listen to stories and sometimes we are not sure, but this is my own story. You get so for me, I understand the economic times are hard. They are really hard.
Yes.
But does that give you a reason to abandon what the responsibility that you have? Because a child is your own responsibility, because you are the one who brought him on this earth. So I think for me, it's very important for us to not just focus on material or what we call the the financial part of it, but also look at because there is also the thing of holding on and being resilient. And this is where resilience comes in,
True. All right, so Steve,
and Kev, yes.
Just go on.
It boils down now to how you've been, mentored, or what models did you grow up with, or what models do you have of how to be a father, All
right, so hold it right there, Steve. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the models and the role of mentorship in the life of a young man in this country, why we think it's important for young guys to get mentors.
Catch the vibes on air and online.
We're talking to the one and only Steve Muchiri. Now, Steve is a very amazing man. He is literally an entrepreneur, first of all, and then he's also a personal development coach. He's the author of a book called The Journey of a Victor. What an amazing man. Yes. So now, Steve, can you hear me, Steve?
Yes. I can hear you.
Welcome back. Now, Steve, before we talk about mentors and the role mentors can play in a young man's life, a lot of men that I engage with talk about depression. When you walk around Nairobi, when you're driving around, you see all these successful men, sana politicians and wealthy business people, and a young man gets the pressure from the family members, and they're like, "Hey, bana." So, you have a situation where your wife is like, wait, you can't even do anything for me, you can't even provide. So how does a man handle that type of depression and still stay consistent in being a provider, being solid and grounded, and being somebody who the kids can even look up to?
Okay, Kev, I understand there is a problem of depression. It's a real problem, and I mean it's something that we need to be very, very intentional in terms of how we address it, because it's there. And many men actually have been victims of depression, and actually even research shows that men are more prone to depression to get ill because depression is an illness. And more than women. Why? Because the pressure is more on the man because of the societal expectations. And this is one thing that I say as a man, for you to be able now to live what I call live your life, you need to have your own identity, because the other problem we are having with many men is they don't know who they are. They don't have an identity of themselves. And Kev, if you don't have an identity, you will live. I mean, you will just take any identity. You see somebody out there doing, having a very big car and living, the life of that life that that all of us desire to have, and you're like, why not me? Why am I not being like? Why am I not like that guy? And you start comparing yourself, and that comparison is one of the reasons why you find that men, start being depressed, because you go home and maybe I don't say this is what all women do, but maybe your wife or your woman, the woman you have, is also comparing you with those guys, And so it's very important. One thing I would tell a young man out there: get an identity of yourself. Know who you are. Know what your purpose on earth is, and it's a journey. It's not a one-day thing, because this is one of the things that actually is an attribute of manhood.
So what are some of those practical things that a young man can do to find his own identity?
to find your own identity. Look at identity comes with your gifts, with your abilities, your natural abilities, and I believe everyone has them. The problem we have, Kev, is we don't take serious attention to those things.
Yes.
because on the other hand, and I'm saying now, this is where we need balance. On the other hand, you are having these societal expectations, and you have to look for a job, and many men get any job that can give them money, and you realize this job that you are doing, yes, it's giving you money, or it's not even giving you a lot of money, but at the same time, it's not the job that you are created to do. It's not something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And what does that do to you? It gives you burnout. You become burnt out. You become stressed because you're not using your natural abilities, your natural talent, your natural gift that God has given you.
Yes.
Your God-given talent, because everyone has it. It's a matter of sitting down and having a meeting with yourself. This is what I tell people. Have a meeting with yourself. Get to know who you are. What are your gifts? What do people tell you are good at? Because everyone has, there is something. Hata kama ni, we look at these big profession. It can be even something as something like, for example, being a barber. There are people who know how to anajua kunyoa, they know how to shave in a very classy way, It might be, it's not a mass. It becomes that big thing, like, for example, being an engineer or being a business, a very very big entrepreneur and all that, which if you have that, it's good, but I'm just saying, look within yourself. It could be that small thing. It could be maybe you are very good at cooking.
True. As long as it gives you fulfillment. Now let's take it a notch higher. Now I'm going to give you a scenario, You have a situation where, like I said earlier, your wife, this guy is married, they're a young couple, and the wife is giving pressure to the guy. He's saying, you know what, you can't even provide, I regret marrying you, but they have kids. And the pressure is taking its toll on him. Does he walk away, or does he stay put and take care of his kids? Because, I mean, it sucks. It sucks when you have a situation where daddy's not around, but he has to now find himself. But then again, you don't want to victimize your children. So how do you go about that? Do you walk away from a toxic relationship, or do you stay put for the sake of your children?
One thing I would say, Kev, is the scenario you are giving is a real scenario. Men are going through that, and what I would say is, the first thing you should do is, I think you should ask for help. Before you even make a decision to walk away. You get me? Because there are scenarios where you find out that this thing is so toxic that the man is actually even becoming sick. Because of being pressurized. But what I say is, take time, seek help. Don't just make a very fast decision of walking away, because there could be a way out. I am a believer of there is always. There's not just one way of doing things. There is always a way out. So seek help. And if you can't, seek professional help before you make that decision to walk away, before you make that decision to leave your family. Because let me tell you, it's hard. Let me tell you, it's hard to provide. It doesn't come easily. Okay? But on the other hand, if you walk away, it's not going to be easy. You get?
Yes, I do.
So weigh and see.
Yeah.
And look at it this way. There are kids here who are looking up to you.
Yes.
There are kids here who they look up to you, like, because kids don't work. Kids are basically fed by their parents.
Yeah.
So look at it that way. And also to our women, let us be lenient. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Let us be lenient to our men, because I know men try. I am a man. I know men try their best.
Yes.
And if you find your man is feeling a bit tired and is feeling like giving up, encourage him. Don't now start talking. Because as men, as they say, our ego is to blast a man's ego is very easy.
That's true. So now, Steve, aside from that, I want us to talk about the role of a mentor in a young man's life, and why it's important for young men to get mentors. Did you grow up with a mentor?
Personally, I've had so many mentors as I grew up, and I would say that that's something that has really helped me.
Yeah.
One of the mentors I had was my grandfather, and he passed on, in 2010. But that man, since I was a young boy until my early adulthood, because when he died I was 25 years.
Okay.
And he was he was somebody I was looking up to. He used to really believe in me. The other person is I had people, people who I would look up to, people who I knew, from a personal level.
Yeah.
Who I would talk to in different areas of life, because mentors you can have a mentor in terms of, for example, somebody you admire as a business person, somebody you admire as a father, somebody you admire as a career person. So for me, I would say mentorship is something that is very important, because mentors are something that you don't have, and it's good to have one. And I always say, if you don't have a physical mentor, you can look for mentors in books.
That's true.
Because we have books.
Yeah.
We have books.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who have poured out their lives out there in books, and if you read those books, you're going to get 1, 2, or 3 things that can help you, get a step further in life.
So now, speaking of mentors, assuming there's a young guy out there, he's like, okay, fine, Steve looks like he's a really cool guy, makes a lot of sense. What are some of the things that you should be looking out for when you're trying to find a mentor, and how do you even approach a mentor, like an actual person aside from a book?
For me, a mentor is somebody who you have a relationship in terms of like there is a relationship. It's somebody that you have a relationship with, and it starts with a relationship. How do you relate with this person? Is it somebody you look up to in terms of, as I said, in terms of the job they are doing, in terms of maybe they are a father, or maybe they are whatever thing that you admire in them, because this is somebody who has something that you don't have.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that you look at. They have something that you don't have that you want to learn.
So how do you approach them and actually make like the first move? How do you even introduce yourself?
Now, introducing yourself, it depends with the situation. For example, if it's at let's say at work, and maybe there's somebody, maybe it's your boss, and you find them to be doing well, or to be their life looks like it's something that you can learn from. I think you can start by complimenting them and telling them about what you want to do and what you want to achieve. I mean, it takes confidence to just go and ask them, and I believe this is somebody who really wants to give back, or who wants to help the young people. I don't think that it's somebody who can deny. Because for me, for example, that's what I let me give my example. Back in 2011, there is a guy who came to speak to us in campus, and after he came, I didn't know him personally, but after he came, I followed him, and I told him, I'm so inspired. He was an author. Yeah. I'm so inspired and by what you are doing, and I would love to learn more. And he invited me to his office, and we had this chat. And from then on, he would even invite me in his meetings, and we would have this coffee, and talk one-on-one. And I mean, that's how it started,
True.
And he really helped me. He was one of the people actually who wrote something about my book in terms of the people who endorsed. He was one of the people who endorsed my book, because he knew me. And it's not like we knew each other for a very long time. It's just that I saw him in campus. I approached him confidently, and he was like, "Okay, I'll work with you."
Awesome.
So basically, I would say that's an example I would give. Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask you something a bit radical, and I hope you're going to help me make sense. What is the future of masculinity looking like in this country? In terms of, do you think men are thriving? Does the future look bright? Are we going to get to a point where men are going to play an important role in society and be good examples to our children and to our women?
What I would say is, let me say, things might not look as you would want them to look because of the stories that we are hearing.
Yeah, because it's crazy. The story is making headlines.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The stories making headlines are not really good.
Yeah.
But I say there is hope. And what I would say is that what we need to have is people who can rise up and help other men. Men need to lift each other up.
Okay.
Let us not. I think what we need to do is lift each other up and see. And because there are people, there are men who are role models, people who we can learn from. I think those men need to step up and see what they can do, even if it's having programs that can help in terms of masculinity. And I have few friends who are doing that. I have a friend personally who is doing that, raising young boys, mentoring young boys, because he realized there is a problem. Yeah. I know of also a man who does a very, very good program called for men. And he helps men to become men enough, Yeah. He helps men to become who they were created to be. So I believe there is hope. The only thing that we need to do is that if you feel there is something you can do to help another man, please rise up and do it. Because let me tell you, this society, God has given a man a responsibility. Man is supposed to be a leader. We are supposed to lead our families, to lead our country, to lead our churches, to lead. So if we are not investing in men, things are not going to change. But we start investing in men, start raising and giving men attention the way the girl child has been given attention, which is a good thing. Yeah. It's a very, very good thing. Yeah. But we also need to do the same to the boy child, so that now we have the balance. Because what we need in life is balance. So we live a balanced life. Yeah.
What I'm getting from what you just said, that statement is, when the man falls, society falls.
It's true. Because God has given the man a responsibility he's been given a responsibility to lead.
To be a leader, yes.
To be a leader. And leadership is about influence. Leadership is about responsibility. Leadership is about, being a role model, being in charge. That's all leadership entails.
Amazing. So real quick, before we wrap up this hour, I want you to talk about your book in about like a minute or so, and how can we get access to that book? Because I heard my brother, Chito, actually recommended that book to me. So talk about that book real quick.
Okay, so I have two books. The first one is The Victor in Every Victim. That's now the book that has my story.
Is that the latest book you've just written?
Yeah, sorry?
That's the latest one, yeah? The one you've authored?
No, the latest one is called The Journey of a Victor. The latest one is the Journey of a Victor. Basically, this is the journey of, this is a book I wrote from also my personal experiences in business and in employment. Because as I said, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm in business. Okay. So I have written my own lessons and how I was able to get from point A to point B. It's a very, very practical book. It has nuggets that will help you to navigate your way towards becoming a personal success. It's called The Journey of a Victor. A victor is basically somebody who wants to become successful, who wants to conquer,
Yes.
So what I have done is I have just written different chapters on different topics. I have done things to do with self-awareness, understanding who you are, understanding your gifts. How do you now work your goals? Because also I've talked about things about goal setting, which is very important. I have talked about overcoming your past, the things that you've gone through in the past that are derailing you from becoming the best that you can be. So that's what I've basically put in that book, and it's a very, very good book for personal. When you want to have a personal, when you want to invest in yourself in terms of the journey towards success.
Amazing. So how can guys reach out to you in case they would want to?
Well, how you can get this book? We do deliveries.
Okay.
So I think I can give my
personal details.
My personal details, maybe the number that one can call.
Okay.
Or also I also use social media platforms.
Okay.
So I'll give my details. So I'll give my Facebook page. That's Steve Victor Muchiri. Steve Victor Muchiri. That's my Facebook page, and also on Instagram. Then I can also give the number that you can call. So that if you want to have that book, you can call this number, and we can see how we can deliver the book to you.
Yeah, awesome, dude. So it's been really amazing. I'm so sorry the connection actually let us down initially, but we've had such an amazing conversation with you, dude. I've learned a lot.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you for your time, Steve. And I'm sure a lot of young guys out there are also going to learn some of these stories that you've had to share, and a few, tips here and there from your story. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much, Kev.
All right, that's all. So there you have it. There you have it, guys. Steve Muchiri, what an amazing guy. Yeah, there's a lot to learn. And like I said, this week we're going to be talking about the art of manliness and what it means to be a masculine man in this country. It's about time that the Kenyan man is great. And we have to play an important role, be a resourceful Kenyan out there. Give back, be valuable, take care of your children. Wacha kukunywa sana, wacha kuibia watu, especially young guys. Umetoka, there's still time for you to work on your skills so that at shule, when the schools resume next year, you go back when you're better. So, well, I hope you learned a lot. If you have more questions to Steve, you can hit me up on the hashtag #KonBooksandKev.
Vibes Radio, we rule the nation in this generation.